Hello everyone, Nick the DM here, back with another Planar Dragon. The Abyss, in its theoretically limitless layers, houses many threats of chaos and terror, each more dangerous than the last. One of these such creatures is the Chole dragon. These wingless dragons have short, squat bodies covered in dull violet scales that ripple a thick, black ichor. Sharp teeth of varying lengths line their mouths, and short proto-tentacles cover their heads. The smell of burning metal lingers in the air near where the dragon is. Chole dragons have a number of long tentacles randomly spaced across their body. Each dragon has either 4, 7, 9, or 13 tentacles on their body, and those are the only 4 options. No one knows why or what these numbers represent. Along with these tentacles, each dragon also has glowing runes written in the abyssal tongue scattered randomly around their body. The number of runes a Chole dragon possesses is equal to the number of tentacles it has. The location of these runes randomly changes, and all of these runes on a single dragon will never form a word. So whether they have 13 runes on a 13-tentacle Chole dragon, they will never be able to decipher one direct word from the abyssal script. Some scholars believe that these runes might hold some secrets about the lair the dragon resides in. Speaking of layers, let's take a look at the lair these dragons come from. Anyone who knows about the Abyss knows that lair is a very broad term, as the Abyss, unlike the 9 hells, has theoretically infinite layers. Some have been named by explorers and scholars, but a majority of them have not. The Chole dragons are found on the 518th layer of the Abyss, Melantholep. Here's the word. I do not know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I couldn't find anything. It's Melantholep now. This is what the layer is called, but we are unsure as if it's the real name of the layer, as it's referred to by demons. And let me elaborate on that. Anyone who visits the 518th layer and returns are affected with madness, and they're in their insane ramblings, the one word they all speak with dread is Melantholep. It is unknown whether this is the name of the lair or some unknown demon lord who inflicts madness on all who enter. Not much else is known about the lair or any other inhabitants that live there. Chole dragons are the embodiment of the chaotic hate of the Abyss. Beings of destruction, they attack everything in sight, be it a lowly mane or the greatest demon prince. They never flee or show mercy. This is all the information we've received on the Chole dragons, based on the limited number of adventurers who have ever come back from Melantholep. Now, let's check out how I've statted them out in 5th edition. Now, as usual, I'm going to put all of the stat blocks for the for the Chole dragon from wormling to young to adult to ancient down in a link in the description that you can go check out. But just to give you a rough estimate of how powerful they're going to be normally at maximum, I'm just going to read through the ancient Chole dragon stat block that I've created. Of course, if you want to make a worm Chole dragon or a great worm Chole dragon, go ahead, that's for your campaign. I just did wormling through ancient because that's easier for a lot of people to use in their campaign. Now, onto the stats. Ancient Chole dragon, gargantuan dragon, chaotic evil. Armor class of 19, fairly low for most ancient dragons, but it makes up for that in its astounding number of hit points. It has 574 hit points, or 28 d20 plus 280. That doesn't sound like a lot of hit points, but it's more than an ancient gold dragon possesses. It has a on-foot movement speed of 40 feet and a climb speed of 40 feet as well. For ability scores, it has a 28 strength, 10 dexterity, 30 constitution, 11 intelligence, 19 wisdom, and 23 charisma. So very intelligent creatures, and very just, apart from their physical stats, which are astounding, they have quite a lot of intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Not so much charisma as other dragons, but they make up for that with their lair. Because most of the time you aren't going to encounter these guys on the material, or on the prime material. You're going to encounter them in their lair, which I did not make any regional effects. That's all up to you if you're going to have them in your campaign at all. And if you do, I do highly recommend inflicting them with some sort of long-term madness from the Dungeon Master's Guide. Saving throws, the Chole Dragon has proficiency in Dexterity, Constitution, Wisdom, and Charisma saves. For skills, it has expertise in Perception, as most dragons do, and then proficiency in Intimidation, Stealth, and Survival. For senses, it has a blind sight of 60 feet, dark vision out to 120 feet, and a passive perception of 26. For languages, it understands Abyssal, Common, and Draconic, but it cannot speak. We don't know why or if there's any reason for it to be unable to speak, but all we've gotten from the research and from any other stat blocks I've checked out from earlier editions is that they cannot speak at all. Challenge rating of 20, so lower than most ancient dragons, but still pretty formidable. As with most ancient dragons, it has 3 legendary resistances per day, and now we go on to some of its more unique abilities, mainly its tentacles. Now, its tentacles, apart from being just one of its distinctive features, decide a lot for its stats, which I will get to in this and then the innate spellcasting. For tentacles, a Chole Dragon always has 4, 7, 9, or 13 tentacles, determined at random. This number is not related to its age or size or power in any way. Regardless of the number, only 2 of the tentacles are under the dragon's control, while the others writhe and squirm constantly. The dragon's control over the tentacles is limited. It is only able to designate which creatures the tentacles should not attack, but it often does not, as it does not care. The tentacles attack 2 random opponents each round at the start of the dragon's turn. So before it can move, these 2 tentacles will attack anyone within their range, which is a staggeringly long range. The number of tentacles the Chole Dragon possesses determines the type of damage its tentacles deal. Razor-sharp, bony ridges cover all of a 4-tentacled Chole Dragon's tentacles, causing it to deal slashing damage. Needle-like spines protrude from all of a 7-tentacled Chole Dragon's tentacles, causing it to deal piercing damage. A mixture of bony ridges and spikes cover all of a 9-tentacled Chole Dragon's tentacles, causing it to deal both piercing and slashing damage. Half of the total damage will be piercing and the other half will be slashing. If it's an uneven number, you can, of course, round one up and the other down. Like if you have 10 damage total, then you can either do 5 and 5. If you have 9, it could be 5 and 4. All of the tentacles on a 13-tentacled Chole Dragon end in thick, pulpy tumors, causing them to deal bludgeoning damage. And like I mentioned earlier, these tentacles also have a direct impact on their innate spellcasting ability, which I will mention now. For their innate spellcasting, their ability is Charisma, so they have a spell save of 18 and a plus 10 to hit with spell attacks. The spells a Chole Dragon can cast is based on the number of tentacles it has. So for a 4-tentacled ancient Chole Dragon, 3 times per day it can cast Fly, and once per day it can cast Protection from Good and Evil. For a 7-tentacled Chole Dragon, 3 times per day Slow and Darkness each, and 1 time per day Fly. For a 9-tentacled Chole Dragon, 3 times per day it can cast Fireball or Levitate, 3 times per day each, Fireball and Levitate, and once per day each, Dispel Magic. And finally, the 13-tentacled Chole Dragon, 3 times per day each, Protection from Good and Evil and Mirror Image, and then once per day each, Haste. Of course, in earlier editions, the innate spellcasting for dragons is different, and in my videos I've included their innate spellcasting as such. As in 5th edition, there's a system in the monster manual that lets you turn any dragon to innate spellcaster, but I just brought over whatever spells I could. And just like in 3.5, or just like in any edition change, some spells have changed or just all been removed. So there are a few spells that the Chole Dragon once possessed that it no longer does. If you want to check those ones out, check out Dragon Magazine 344, which is where I found the Chole Dragon's 3.5 stats, and that's how I've converted it. If you'd like to see any of those types of spells converted to 5th edition, or just any spells from earlier editions, let me know in the comments. be a pretty good challenge. I don't homebrew many spells normally. Now for its actions. So it, of course, has a multi-attack, which means it can use its Frightful Presence, and then it makes 3 attacks, 1 with its bite and 2 with its claws. But before we get to its bite and claws, let's cover its tentacles, because at the start of the round, it will use those randomly on whoever's within range. So at Ancient, it has a plus 15 to hit for the tentacle and a reach of 30 feet. So they have quite a long range, longer than most of the other dragon's abilities. And they deal 2d6 plus 9 bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage, depending on the, of course, the tentacles, as I said above. Now, back to its multi-attack. It makes 1 bite and then 2 claws. Its bite is a plus 15 to hit, reach of 15 feet, hits 1 target, and deals 18 or 2d10 plus 9 piercing damage. For its claw, it has a plus 15 to hit as well, reach of 10 feet, hits 1 target, and deals 16 or 2d6 plus 9 slashing damage. For its tail attack, for any of its legendary actions, it has a plus 15 hit, a reach of 30 feet, so not as long as its tentacles, but mind you, this one it can target a specific creature. And it will hit 1 target, 2d8 plus 9 bludgeoning damage. Frightful Presence, as most dragons do, it goes out to a range of 120 feet, has a DC 20 Wisdom saving throw, or any targets in the area become frightened for 1 minute. A creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. The good thing about this dragon's Frightful Presence is I find that a lot of other dragons will be a lot higher, and what makes combat really interesting about that is if you have a dragon with a, let's say, 24 DC on its Frightful Presence, and you have someone who does not have any positive to wisdom or any proficiencies in that saving throw, they actually won't be able to save that. Even if they roll a natural 20, and if the save is 24, they won't be able to pass if they don't have any bonuses to it. Of course, with anyone who has, like, if they're immune to being frightened with, let's say, a Hero's Feast or any Paladin auras that will prevent them from being frightened, that'll help them. But for dragons who have such a high DC, it can make combat really difficult if no one's put anything into wisdom. With this one, it only has a DC of 20 for its wisdom saving throw, which means even someone with no bonus has a 1 in 20 chance of succeeding. Now for its breath weapon. This one I really enjoy because one thing I miss about 3.5 is ability score damage. And that is deducting deducting numbers from a player's ability scores in intervals. The only monster I'm aware of that does that currently is the Shadow, a CR 1/2 creature which can just sap an opponent's strength, which is ridiculously overpowered for half CR, which I find really cool. So with this dragon, it has Insanity Breath, a recharge of 5 to 6. The dragon exhales gas in a 90-foot cone. Each creature in that area must succeed a DC 24 Constitution saving throw. A creature's intelligence and wisdom scores are reduced by 1d4 on a failed save to a minimum of 1. A creature whose intelligence is reduced to 3 or lower loses the ability to speak, cast spells, and activate magic items, understand languages, or communicate in any intelligent or intelligible way. On a success, the creature is completely unaffected. The reduction lasts until the target finishes a short or long rest. Now, of course, you could potentially cure this with a greater restoration or just a lesser restoration. That's up to the DM. And of course, it's very dangerous, especially if you have spellcasters, reducing their intelligence and wisdom by a potential 4, which will also drop their plus to hits and their save DCs. But it only lasts until a long or short rest, and if they save, they're just completely unaffected. So it's a little bit of balance. It's a very, very devastating move, but it's basically a type of pass or it's a pass or fail. There's no half damage, there's no half reduction. And legendary actions, because it doesn't have a wing attack, this dragon only gets 2 it gets 2 options for its legendary actions. It can still take 3 per round, and then at the top of the round get its legendary actions back, like most legendary actions. But it only has the ability to do detect and tail attack, as it has no wings. And that's all I have on the Chole dragon. Different from other dragons we've seen so far, being both evil and wingless, but that just goes to show you how unique these dragons are. Now, before I leave, I want to try something new. I normally do polls for the next planar dragon that I'm going to do a video on my Instagram, but today I'm going to let you all vote in the comments. Right now, here is a new set of planar dragons for you all to vote on. Pick your favorite, and the most voted will be the topic of my next video. I'll give you a few seconds to look it over, pause the video if you need more time. Of course, I'm not just going to abandon the other polls that I had on my Instagram. If it's the same picture, I'm going to add up both results. And if it's the old poll that I haven't finished yet, I'm going to continue that. I'm just doing this to mix it up a little bit. All right. Well, if you like this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.